got some stuff to talk about today. Oh, we about to get into it. Hold tight. We about to get started momentarily. It's time to turn the hell up. Hit that like button. Smash that like button because we about to... Man, I tell you how the tables are turned on this day of all days, man. It's crazy. I don't want to say I told you so, but the emperor told you so because I speak the HEE Truth and I speak that gospel. We about to kick this thing off momentarily. OBS Studio is not being my best friend right now, but I think I finally got it fixed, and we about to kick this thing off in a sec. Well. Y'all know what time it is. It's that HEE Truth Live again. Coming with a special episode. Wasn't expecting to do HEE Truth Live today, but given the stuff and events that has happened over the last 3 days, and specifically today, HEE Truth Live had to come on tonight. Real quick on Lover's Day, because I am loving what I seen today. You know what I mean? Some fans ain't gonna love what they saw today. out of a certain company, but I'm loving it because once again, your emperor speaks the damn gospel. Once again, your emperor speaks the HEE Truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Once again, everybody calls me a hater because of what I state. Yet once again, what I have said has come to fruition, and once again, what I have said turns out to be true and accurate. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, we're going to start off with Sony first, and then we're going to get into Nintendo and Microsoft right after that. But we have to go out. So we have to start on Sony first, simply because I've been yelling at the top of my lungs about a certain situation when it came to the PS5 for the last 6 to 7 months. And that certain situation was, what is going on with the PlayStation? What is going on with the PlayStation brand? There looks like there be no roadmap. There looks like to be no plan. There looks like to be no leadership or guidance in the PlayStation brand. You lost Sean Layton. You lost Connie Booth. Naughty Dog is in a fucking rut. They cancel fucking factions. We don't know what the hell is going on with all the other studios. And on top of that, Jim Ryan is retiring, and it's nobody controlling Sony and nobody at the helm. Well, given today, Sony put out their financial report, just like Nintendo put theirs out a few days ago. It's that time of the year where you give your quarterly report. And after days and weeks of trolling Xbox fans about a rumor and the potential of Xbox games going third party and going multi-platform, the chairman of Sony Interactive Entertainment, yes, not the CEO of PlayStation, not the chairman of PlayStation, the actual COO, the chairman of Sony Interactive Entertainment, you know, the actual company that runs PlayStation and owns PlayStation, yeah, the big dog actually came out and really hit a haymaker on top of every Sony drone, every Sony fanboy, every PlayStation peasant. And he hit a haymaker right on top of their head. And it's been something that your emperor been saying for the last 7 to fucking 8, 9 damn months. And that thing was none other than what I've been talking about for the last 7 to 8 months. That he confirmed to you that PS5 is not going to have any games, any exclusives for the whole year of 2024. As a matter of fact, he went on to state something even worse. There's going to be no first party exclusives until April of 2025. I'm gonna say that again for y'all. I'm gonna put it on the screen for you so you can see it as well. This man, the COO of Sony Interactive Entertainment, basically the head dog. This comes from the head honcho. This comes from the top dog of the top of the food chain. And I'm just gonna read it to you. Sony expects PlayStation 5 hardware sales to gradually decline during the next fiscal year, which runs from April 2024 to April 2025. And it confirmed it plans to release no major existing franchise titles during the 12-month period. So, as an absolute shocker to, basically not to me, but an absolute shocker to every PlayStation fanboy that's on the planet, this man came out here and dunked on y'all head after y'all been dunking on Sony, on Microsoft all week long about their games not being exclusive and going to other platforms. The head honcho of Sony Interactive Entertainment, the big dog, you know what I mean? The head of the table over at Sony said, you ain't getting a damn first party exclusive, and the earliest you're going to get one is April of 2025. That is 14 months from now. You can't write a better script than this. This is the biggest moment of karma I've ever seen for such a blatant, malicious, annoying, nasty, asinine fan base. This man came out here and told you you're going to be dry as the fucking Sahara Desert for the next 14 fucking months, which brings me to the conclusion of, why did you buy this console in the first damn place? Oh, don't believe me. It gets even worse. I'm gonna get into the more the details of what he said out of his mouth. But the fact of the matter is that we've been dunking on Microsoft for all this time. And you've been ignoring the PlayStation flaws. You've been ignoring the PS5 flaws. You've been ignoring every single solitary thing that has been put in front of you to tell you what was really going to happen with this system. And the chairman comes out, of all people, the chairman comes out and dunks on y'all fucking head. You can't make you can't make this shit up. You cannot make this up. What bothers me so much about this, and trust me, it gets worse. So PlayStation fans, please stick around. It gets worse because you got to get the whole. He laid out a lot of hurtful shit this morning in the financial report. He did tell you the PS5 sold 54 million units. He did tell you that Spider-Man sold 10 million units. Oh, by the way, it got outsold. It got outsold by Super Mario Brothers Wonder. By the way, Super Mario Brothers Wonder sold 12 million as of December. Spider-Man sold 10 million as February 4th. So put that out there for people who was thinking Spider-Man outdid Super Mario Brothers Wonder, but it didn't. And Spider-Man was bundled in consoles, by the way. That too. So he tells you this, you know, he softens you up a little bit. Then he hits you with, oh yeah, you're not playing any major first party exclusive, a la Spider-Man, Last of Us, God of War. The earliest you're going to play any first party exclusive from PlayStation is April of 2025. I was in absolute shock because I knew this year was really going to be dry because we went into the year not knowing anything. You had, borderline decent Helldivers 2. You had the Bayonetta ripoff, Stellar Blade, and you had the not so good looking Rise of the Ronin, and that was pretty much it. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I guess. The four games that basically they've been trying to make them look as bigger deals than they actually are. Outside of Final Fantasy, obviously that's a major franchise. And I wondered this whole time over the last few months, especially leading up to the release of Spider-Man 2, why they wasn't talking about the 2024 lineup. Because there wasn't one. There wasn't a 2024 lineup. That's why they wasn't talking about it. And the fact of the matter is that they propped up these four games as the games that y'all gonna have to cope with until April of 2025. That is the most ridiculous shit I have ever heard in my life. I really thought they was going to come out and surprise something like, hey, we got something for y'all for the fall 2024. I know that's a big gap between January and in November of 2024, but at least they'll give you something. But these dudes ain't giving you shit for the rest of the year. Your mediocre Helldivers came out, just recently came out. The Rise and Ronin game is coming out next month, and then Celebrate's coming out right after that. I cannot imagine how you feel as a PS5 owner. I cannot imagine that you really paid upwards of $500 or more, because when the thing first came out, people was paying over $1,000 for this damn thing. I cannot imagine that you paid that much for this system to not play exclusive content for the system. That is so wild to me. But it gets worse. So I'm going to tell you what else he said, because it gets way worse. So he ends up quoting even more craziness. Besides you waiting 14 months to play anything AAA. So you're going to get double A with these four games they already showed you. And on top of that, You ain't getting nothing that you obviously bought the console for. You know, like the sequel to Ghost of Tsushima, the Factions 2 game, which was canceled, which which brings me into more questions on why was that game fucking canceled? If internally you knew you had nothing, why was that game canceled? That's just crazy to me. He came out. He said some more stuff here, and I'm trying to. Now this thing don't want to fucking work with me for some reason. Now I'm trying to bring it up here. Oh my God, are you fucking serious? Come on now. I'm trying to bring it up. So what else he said was very interesting, which was about first party titles on PS5 and Sony as a whole. And what he said was very damning, to be honest with you. I'm really bothered by what he said. And I could have sworn it was in this article. But basically, to make a long story short, I thought it was in this article, but it's not in this article. To make a long story short, after telling you you're not going to play anything for the next 14 months, for any major franchise for the PS5, he then goes on to talk about the PlayStation's ability to make money and to grow. PlayStation's first party titles ability to make money and grow. PlayStation first party titles cost in development, which ended up with him making a wild statement that's absolutely, totally, hilariously ironic, that in order for PlayStation's first party titles to generate any growth and generate any profit, he wants to look into PlayStation 5 games going multi-platform. Yes, you heard that right. Yes, you heard that right. The COO of Sony, after all that capping by the Sony fan base, your own brethren, your own master and chief, your own head of the table came out and said, I want my games everywhere. I know this is how y'all always looking this morning, because I couldn't believe it. I was floored. I was flabbergasted. I was shocked. I was appalled. I could not believe what came out that man's mouth. This man said, in order to grow, we have to be aggressive in our first party titles, going over to other platforms and being multi-platform. How ironic is that? How poetic is that? How funny is that? Now, here's the kicker when it comes to this this new COO of Sony. He also said another quote. He said, as 4 months of him being the chairman of Sony Interactive Entertainment, he basically said PlayStation didn't know what the fuck they were doing, and they was doing it all wrong. And I need to pull up the quote. I need to pull up the exact quote, man, because he really laid it out of how bad the leadership was at PlayStation over the last few years, basically over the last PS4 and leading into the PS5. And it's been something I've been saying for a while. So I'm gonna pull up this quote because it was a damning quote, because I wouldn't expect the chairman of the company to say something like that. But Yeah, I got to pull up this quote. Okay, now I got the multi-plat quote now. So we're gonna show that multi-plat quote first. Then I'm gonna get with y'all on the on everything. So, oh man, this is crazy. This is crazy. We finally got it here. All right, so he said, in quote, in the past, we wanted to prioritize console and first party titles. Main purpose was to make the console popular. It is true, but there is a synergy to it. So if we have a strong first party content, not only with our console, but also other platforms like computers, first party can be grown with multi-platform, and that can help operate and profit improve. So the problem they had is that they're making a lot of revenue, but they're not making any really net income and no profit. So that, and another one we want to proactively work on. So I personally think there are opportunities out there for improvement of margins. So I would like to go aggressive in improving our margin performance. That's a quote directly from Sony's COO. Directly from him. And I'm gonna scroll down to that last part so you can see that last part right there. That last part right there. You know what I mean? That last part. And I have to read that again. I personally think there are opportunities out there for improvement of margin. So I would like to go aggressive in improving our margin performance. There it is for you people. After trolling Xbox for the better half of a year, I don't think it get any more blatant than that. You know what I mean? When somebody says something, you need to believe them. When somebody says something, you need to believe them. And basically, he's telling you they're going multi-platform. That's basically what he's telling you. And he's going to be very aggressive in doing it. And some people are really already trying to spin this into a day and date situation with PC. Nah, buddy. They want to improve those profit margins by a lot. And that means you probably going to see PlayStation games on rival platforms. How ironic is that? That's some ironic shit right there if you really think about it. So you not only do you have to wait 14 months for anything sustainable, for anything worth a damn exclusive ride first party from Sony itself on the PlayStation brand. Now you got the new COO talking about we ain't doing this exclusive shit no more. I want profits margins to rise, and I'm gonna be aggressive in doing it. So that right there should tell you we might see Kratos on an Xbox soon. We might see The Last of Us on an Xbox soon. You know what I mean? We might end up seeing Sony characters in the next Smash Brothers very soon. I think this shit is all hilarious because everybody really believed and really was on fool's gold and really think everything was so hunky-dory and all good in the hood at Sony, and they was doing great, and just ignored everything negative that was going on. And it's sitting here right in front of your face, and this man has been in this position for only 4 months. 4 months of this job, and he has come to this conclusion, which means shit been fucked up for a while. Which means shit been fucked up for a minute before he took position. Which means when Sean Layton got the fuck out of there, shit was already fucked up when Sean Layton left. I knew it was very weird when Sean Layton got out of there because the way he got out and the way he got put out was very mysterious to me. It was very mysterious to me. Ain't no way. Sean Layton was the biggest chest beating motherfucker over at PlayStation until his abrupt exit a couple of years ago. And I said then, something is going on for the reason for Sean Layton to get out of there like that. but nobody wanted to listen. Then Connie Booth left, a person that been with Sony for 20 plus years. She abruptly got the fuck out of there, and nobody wanted to listen. Something's really wrong. The fact that The Last of Us 2 launched with no multiplayer, I knew something was wrong. The fact that they promised you this game and then cancel it way later down the line after promising it to you, I knew something was wrong. Then Jim Ryan comes out and say, you know what, fuck this, I'm retiring. Then I definitely knew something was fucking wrong. But for some reason, this fan base really had the belief that everything was all fucking good at Sony. Then I knew something was wrong with how Sony very aggressively fought with the FTC for Microsoft to not acquire Activision. Then I knew something was wrong. And then on top of that, we had the Insomniac leak, which confirmed a lot of our concerns. Why the fuck is a game costing $300 million to make that only has 15 hours worth of fucking gameplay in Spider-Man? On top of that, they said in the leak that Microsoft was a threat to them in the industry, but people still was delusional and overlooked that. But then it came full circle today. Everything you ignored, everything you tried to sweep under the rug, everything you tried to blatantly prop Sony up on this pedestal and PlayStation up on this pedestal is the most hilarious shit I've ever seen. For the COO of Sony Interactive Entertainment, the head honcho at Sony, not PlayStation, not the head honcho at PlayStation, the company that owns PlayStation. This chairman said, you know what? I don't know what the fuck they've been doing at PlayStation, but they ain't been doing business right. In 4 months, he said PlayStation was not doing business right. They was overspending and wasn't making any money. This is why they want to do all those live service games. So it's all coming full circle now. And the only conclusion I can come from this is I told y'all asses. The fact of the matter is that once again, we have Sony and PlayStation fumbling after doing so well. Did great with the PS2, fumbled with the fucking PS3 so terribly. Did great with the PS4, and now fumbling so fucking terribly with the PS5. And why is the PS5 a fumble? Because of the next quote the man said. The next quote that the man, because he wasn't done. He beat the shit out of all PlayStation fanboys today. I tell you, on Valentine's Day, the fan base that got fucked the most was not Xbox fans, it was PlayStation fans, because the man said some more shit that you just had to die inside when you was a PlayStation fan. The COO of Sony, this motherfucker you see right here, this picture right here, this is him. This is him. I want y'all to take a good look at this motherfucker. Get a good look at his ass, because you're going to have to remember that face. This man said, and I quote, PS5 is in its later stages of its life cycle. He said PS5 is in its later stages of its life cycle. What the fuck? How? You barely had anything on this console. What do you tell me we in the late stages of the PS5 life cycle? The shit just really started a year and a half ago. What, you got 5 exclusive on the whole damn console? And now you telling me we in the late stages of his life cycle? Which basically telling me that we about to move on to another PlayStation? Ain't no way. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. But that is what this man has said. We are in the later stages of the PS5 life cycle. Somebody has to explain to me how the fuck is that possible? He already confirmed you that you're going to have a 14-month drought because they ain't releasing shit until the earliest of April 2025. He already told you that the leadership before you spent money and didn't know what the fuck they were doing at PlayStation. He already told you the PS5 sales are tracking well behind the PS4. And then on top of that, he's telling you that he wants to put everything everywhere and go aggressively with multi-platform. And then he hits you with, oh yeah, by the way, we about to get off this motherfucking PS5 real soon because we're in the later stages. You can't make this shit up. You cannot make this up. That last one for me was really the kicker. Simply because I know for a fact, right, that every last one of the Sony fans were looking like this. They woke up to this morning with love in the air. They woke up this morning with love in their heart. And they got shellacked. They woke up this morning and thought it was all going to be good. All was going to be peaches and cream. And they got shellacked this morning. But the thing that bothers me the most is the later, we're in the late life cycle of the PS5 when we just started, bro. We just started. If we're in the later stages, there's one thing that's confirmed so far. The PS5 just pulled a fucking Wii U. Yes, that system. Yes, that Wii U. Because this 14 months is going to be the biggest drought I've ever seen exclusively for a console since the fucking Wii U. You know, the one that was a goddamn disaster. And for the PS5 to be in this state, after coming off of the PS4, it's mind-boggling how a company like Sony can fumble that damn bad. How can you fumble that damn bad? Now it's like, what do we buy this PlayStation for? And obviously there's been a little bit of outrage from Twitter from people who are not, Sony loyalists, who are not PlayStation, loyalists. And it's like, you felt like you just bought this system. I just bought an Xbox Series X just a few months ago. I'm just now buying into the ecosystem. Now you're telling me that you're potentially taking away the exclusives. Now you're telling me the other system I was thinking about buying, the PS5, ain't gonna have shit for 14 fucking months. And then you're telling me we're at the end of it. This generation is probably gonna go down as the saddest shit I have ever seen. These two consoles so far have done nothing. They have done nothing. They have proven nothing. They have delivered nothing. In Microsoft case, they got a lot of shit that they're developing. They got a lot of shit that's coming out. But with the rumors about them going third party, it makes no fucking sense when they got all this shit coming out. They got all ththese games announced. They got release dates. We've seen the gameplay. Obviously, it's coming. But how does Sony have nothing? How do they have nothing, my guy? That's the thing that is that's perplexing to my brain. How do y'all have nothing? Just nothing for a whole 14 months. This is the biggest fucking disaster since the Wii U. And the fact of the matter is, they forecasting the PS5 sales to decline and to not even increase because they know they're not going to release anything. So how can you have a sales forecast to increase your PS5 sales? So the PS5 might end up, from what the COO is saying right now, the PS5 might end up selling less than the goddamn PS3, which is absolutely crazy to me. But the fact of the matter is it really that crazy? Because you have no exclusive games. There's so many games that was cross-gen. So that's not exclusive to PS5. Horizon, cross-gen. Miles Morales, cross-gen. Ragnarok cross-gen. There was so much cross-gen shit, there were really not anything exclusive. And the fact of the matter is that they're taking all this time and spending all this money on these AAA experiences. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. This is the biggest fumble. This is the biggest crash and burn since the fucking Wii U. And once again, which is going to segue me into the next thing. Once again, it is proven every time that Nintendo always makes the right move and Nintendo always makes the right decision. Everybody had an issue. Everybody had an issue after the Wii U about what is Nintendo going to do. Nintendo always banks on one thing: innovation. Innovation. And they wanted to continue to innovate with the Wii U, but obviously marketing was pretty damn terrible, and people wasn't really ready to accept that. But here we are in 2023 and 2024, and we already got the competitor copying the Wii U gamepad from 2013 and 2014. But I digress. Let's move on to the point here. But the fact of the matter is, they always bank on innovation, because when you play the power game, I'm gonna rephrase that. When you only play the power game, this is the shit that happens to you. There is only two companies to blame for the situation Microsoft is in now and the dog shit situation that PlayStation and Sony is in now. There's only two companies to blame: PlayStation and Xbox. Once the narratives changed from gaming to frame rate and resolution, their fates were fucking doomed. I'm gonna say it again for everybody in the back that ain't listening. Once the narrative changed from quality games to frame rate and resolution, they were fucking doomed. And this is why a company like Nintendo I praise so much, because they first of all, they deliver the best games on the fucking planet, period. Bar none. That's not even up for debate, not even up for discussion. Hands down the greatest first party lineup, hands down the greatest exclusives on the planet. Nintendo understood that it's not only about power, that you have to innovate. And out came the Switch, which was obviously the biggest gamble for them, and obviously the biggest jackpot for them, because it worked, and goddamn it worked very goddamn well. I love the Switch, one of the best systems ever created. And their focus remained on delivering you a full product, delivering you something that was visually appealing, but delivering you something that was obviously innovative on the gameplay front, and giving you gameplay experiences that you never had before. That is where Sony and Microsoft went wrong. They banked on this frame rate resolution bullshit, the argument that I could not stand, that I spoke so hardly against when it first came up around the Wii U time. There is only so much you can fucking do. Why are we trying to compete with the frame rate and resolution war as a console? This is not a fucking PC. Leave those PC nerdsel bitches over there on their fucking platform. Let them spend all that asinine fucking money to upgrade their fucking rigs every goddamn 6 months to a year. Leave them alone. Let them do what they do. They have no bearing on what goes on in the console space. But for some fucking reason, Sony and Microsoft and the gaming media played their part as well. Let them infect the console business. And this is where we're at now, to the point that Microsoft has to think about putting their games on another fucking platform because nobody's buying their goddamn console. To the point, to the fact of the matter is that The Sony PlayStation was led by fucking idiots that went down the same goddamn path that only wanted to put out graphically intense games and spend $300 million on fucking games for no goddamn reason, that didn't have any gameplay innovation, that had no genre-defying gameplay mechanics, that just basically wanted to sell you interactive movies that looked pretty. That's pretty much it. And what did you get out of that? No profit margins. What did you get out of that, Sony? No profit margins. What did you get out of that, Microsoft? No profit margins that Microsoft was happy with. What did Nintendo get out of it? Oh, probably the best-selling console of all time in the Nintendo Switch. What did Nintendo get out of it? Oh, having 61 titles, first-party titles sell over 1 million. What did Nintendo get out of that? Over 21 titles selling over 10 million copies on Switch alone. What else did Nintendo get out of that? Also a game selling 60 million copies alone on the Nintendo Switch. What else did Nintendo get out of that? Record profit margins. What else did Nintendo get out of that? Money and bank. Because they banked on what people really want is quality gameplay experiences. And now we have two companies that are in the hole. And now we are really going to sit up here and probably be in a situation where one company only has fucking exclusives. It's going to be one company and one console that truly only has exclusives, which is crazy to me. Because all I kept hearing is how Nintendo's behind the times and Nintendo needs to keep up and Nintendo needs to do this and Nintendo needs to do that. Well, I've seen Nintendo did the right fucking thing, because we got Xbox fucking crumbling at the knees. We got fucking Sony deep in the motherfucking mud. And the only people that are sitting here collecting checks, swimming in the fucking Scrooge McDuck bank of coins and making it fucking rain is Nintendo and the Nintendo Switch. That's the only company doing that right now. So the frame rate and resolution war has hindered and damaged gaming so fucking much. We have seen so many people get laid off. We have seen so many companies close doors. We have seen so many developers close doors. We have seen people getting bought out here left and right because they can't sustain being open, because of where they thought gaming was going was not really where it was fucking going. And once again, they're going to follow what Nintendo is doing. You bet your ass they're going to follow it. Because they always do. No matter what Nintendo does, Sony and Microsoft follow behind them. Now we already heard about there's another PlayStation handheld coming out. Now we already heard about Xbox is making a Switch-like handheld console. I'm not surprised. I called this in 2017. I said, this is the new way to play. Nobody's going to want to play the old way anymore. Once you made a hybrid console and I'm able to take my console quality games with me any and everywhere, and with the emergence of mobile gaming in the mobile market, that was going to be the way to go. Because at the end of the day, the majority of gamers don't give a fuck about your 30 to 60 frames fucking argument. They don't give a fuck about no motherfucking high quality goddamn graphics and 4K fucking textures to the point that we have to zoom in on it 18 goddamn thousand fucking X times to prove which one has the better fucking texture quality. Majority of gamers don't give a fuck about none of that. And it's proven. Don't get me wrong. We love pretty looking games. Astral Chain is a pretty fucking game. Tears of the Kingdom is a pretty fucking game. Breath of the Wild is a pretty goddamn game. Mario Odyssey is a pretty motherfucking game. Those are beautiful looking games. But guess what? For some people in the industry, it's not enough. You got to be pumping out 1080p 4K 60. You got to be pumping out 4K touches on every fucking nick and cranny in the motherfucking game. Fuck if the game is good. Fuck if the game has great gameplay mechanics. Fuck if the game have interesting goddamn characters. You just gotta pump out the motherfucking texture so it can look pretty. And guess where that got us? In the motherfucking mud. Except Nintendo. Except Nintendo. That's the only people that's not in the mud right now. Except Nintendo. So, where do we go from here? That's really the question. And I think we're going to get the answers to those questions this week and next week. Starting with the Xbox business update. And I think whatever decision Microsoft has made when it comes to the future of Xbox and for this Xbox podcast and the Xbox business update, I think they already made it. But if I'm Phil Spencer and I seen the news that came out of Sony camps today, I'm going to higher ups at Microsoft and look, we got to hold the motherfucking line. We got to hold the line. They are in a shit spot and opportunity is there for growth. Opportunity is there for console sales. Opportunity is there for them to gain a lot of ground on Sony. Simply because of this one simple rule. It's always universal and it always applies every generation. It's very simple. If you build it, they will come. Software is always going to move the hardware. The software, the games, the titles are always going to sell the console. And whether people like it or not, the company that has the appealing lineup right now and for the immediate future is Xbox. With Hellblade, with Avowed, with Clockwork Revolution, with Fable, with Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, with the next Gears, with Everwild. They have a lot of shit already shown to line up. These titles are titles that can move systems. So if they sit up here and just wave the right flag and say, we're going to put Xbox games everywhere, they missing out on a big opportunity. But I guarantee you, I could tell you this when it comes to this Xbox business update. I think the reaction is going to be a little bit different now that we know where Sony stands. Now that we know where Sony is and where Sony stands, it's going to make Microsoft look a little bit different in a different light. But the problem is with that, the problem we have with that is that are people really going to buy Xbox consoles anymore? Are they really going to buy Xbox consoles anymore? Once Sony adopts the same structure of Microsoft, if they do it, that's me just assuming they do it. All right, people going to buy PlayStation consoles anymore? Now you got a situation where you have two people who are console makers, and I'm pretty sure that the next Xbox and the next PlayStation are pretty much guaranteed to come out at least. I don't think that's a situation where they're not going to come out. You have a situation where you have two console manufacturers putting out two systems and their games that are on the system is on each other's platform. So what incentive do you have to buy either of these consoles? What makes your decision? That's the crazy thing about it. When it comes to this Xbox business update. So I'm not sure what Microsoft is going to do. We only have 24 hours to figure it out. We will know in 24 hours, not figure it out. We will know for sure in 24 hours what they're going to do. But if I was Phil Spencer, I would hold the line because space and opportunity is there. This is not a bigger hole for you to come in and reclaim some real estate in this market than it is now for what Sony has laid out for you. Than it is now. I cannot believe they came into the PS5 this unprepared. I can't believe they fumbled this bad after the PS4. Because they already fumbled before with the PS3. So you should learn from your mistakes. But obviously that's not the case. But The Xbox business update is going to be held obviously tomorrow. If people don't know, February 15th. It's going to be Phil Spencer, Sarah Bond, and Matt Booty. I can't believe this man's last name is Booty. I would have legally changed that shit by now, but I guess he don't give a fuck. But yeah, we got I really don't know what they're gonna do. Yes, hold the line. Chat, you right. They need to hold the motherfucking line. Like, your opportunity is here. You acquired all these studios. You acquired all these third-party developers, Bethesda, Activision. You have the content. You're going to have the content. You control Call of Duty, one of the biggest cash cows in gaming today. You have the opportunity to regain real estate in this console market, in this gaming market, and you're going to pass that up. That's about as dumb decision as Sony has been making the last few fucking years. But I don't know. I guess we'll see tomorrow when an Xbox update comes out. If people don't know, I'll put it up on the screen for everybody to see. If people don't know, let's see what time that thing is actually coming out. Let's see what time that pull up. They go to time right there. Let's put this. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. We'll know the future of Xbox. And damn, this thing has 8 million views. That's how much people love to hate on Xbox. This thing got 8 million views and only been out for barely 2 days, people. Barely been out for 2 days. That's just crazy to me. But we will know for sure what they're going to do tomorrow. But if I'm them, I'm busting in the door of whoever is at the helm of Microsoft and say, look, our opportunity is now. We need to seize it. Because I don't think people realize how long it's going to take for Sony to fix their fuck up they just made. Obviously, this is a multi-year fix here. This is a multi-year fix. This is probably why he said we're in the end of the PS5 life cycle, because they want to get the fuck off of it very quickly. But I don't think that's a good move, especially for the consumer. I think consumers are not going to like that shit whatsoever. I don't like it, and I don't even have a PS5 yet. And at this point, I don't think I even need to buy one. I don't think I should buy one. This man telling me it's fucking ending. He's telling me it's ending, and I'm supposed to buy one? Man, if I'm Phil Spencer, I'm like, look, the time is now. You strike now. But I have a feeling that whatever decision they made has already been made, and I don't think they can retract it. Maybe they can, but Xbox will look fucking foolish after seeing all this information. They will look fucking foolish to go ahead and proceed with Xbox games on PlayStation 5 and Switch. That's just me. I think they will look fucking foolish because the opportunity is there. No, you have no shot of beating Nintendo because Nintendo is on. They're on a fucking rocket right now that nobody can shoot down. But you have an ample opportunity right now to regain real estate in the console market away from Sony, because Sony obviously is telling you they're going to be sitting on their ass for the next 14 months until April 2025. And you have all the time in the world. You have all the games in the world that you are releasing to make up that real estate. I think that's what they need to do, but I don't think that's what we're going to hear tomorrow. Maybe we do. Maybe we get a shocker. Maybe Phil Spencer's double down and say we're not putting Xbox games anywhere. Maybe we'll get a shocker. I don't know. But tomorrow we will find out for sure. We'll find out for sure. But then that brings me to the most important, company in this whole discussion today in the HEE Truth Live. And that comes to Nintendo, the gods. The people who run this industry and continue to run this industry even after all these damn decades. They continue to run this industry and they continue to make the right decisions, and they continue to show that they know the fucking way, and these other two companies really don't know what the fuck they're doing. Especially Sony. They really don't know what the fuck they're doing. That shit baffles me, people. I mean, chat, am I wrong? Tell me if I'm wrong. Is it not baffling? How can a company like PlayStation have multiple opportunities to be on top and fuck it up multiple times? This is the second time they have fucked it up. The second time. I mean, from PS2, PS3 was the most epic fucking fumble there has to be ever. Then Nintendo comes back and fumbles from the Wii to the Wii U. But that was a circumstantial situation. But to come back yet again right after that and fucking fumble from the PS4 to PS5, it's mind-boggling that this company was able to do that. And this is why it comes, as we segue into Nintendo, and this is why we are living in the day of age of so many Nintendo Direct rumors, so many Nintendo Direct leaks, so many Switch 2 leaks, so many Switch 2 rumors. Why are we sitting here living in this today? Is simply because of this one thing and one thing only. Nintendo doesn't want to fuck it up. They are taking their sweet ass time with the successor to the Nintendo Switch. They are taking their sweet ass time getting this Switch 2, Super Nintendo Switch, Nintendo Switch Ultra, Nintendo Switch XL, wherever the hell they're going to call it. They are taking their sweet time because they understand they have to get this right. They're not trying to go through the Wii U again. They're trying to make an easy, seamless transition from the Switch to the Switch successor to the Super Nintendo Switch to the Switch 2. And I think they're going to pull it off. I think they're going to pull it off. To quote another president of a major gaming company, the newly appointed president of Nintendo said the most important thing to them is for people to transfer over from Switch to the successor. They want them to be able to transfer over their accounts. They want them to be able to transfer over their games. So when it comes to these Nintendo Direct rumors and the Switch 2 leaks about the Switch 2 being, having backwards capability, full backwards capability for digital and physical games. Switch 2 also has the ability to enhance Switch games. All that really just falls in line with what the Nintendo president said anyway. So I can't really call that a leak. I really call that an obvious because it speaks exactly to what the Nintendo president has been saying. But the rumor is what the Nintendo Direct is that we're supposed to be getting one this week or the next few days. Then we're supposed to be getting one next month that reveals the Switch 2, which I do believe might be accurate because if we look at the release schedule for the Nintendo Switch right now, you have Mario vs. Donkey Kong, which coming out in a couple of days. You got the Princess Peach game, which comes out next month. Then after that, you only have Luigi's Mansion remake, and of course Metroid Prime 4, which is still listed for release on Nintendo Switch. And there's nothing else announced. So obviously we're going to get a Direct. So the Nintendo Direct rumors have to be correct because we're going to get something. The Nintendo's just not going to have anything ready to release at all. We're obviously going to get some surprise Nintendo Switch games, of course. What those can be, I don't know. They ran through almost every fucking franchise they got on the Switch already. But with the reveal of Nintendo Switch being rumored to be next month in March, kind of lines up. That'll be the Switch anniversary. And also, you have Mario Day, which is March 10th, being next month as well. So everything kind of lines up with what the Nintendo president has been saying. The anniversary of the Nintendo Switch. You got Super Mario Day coming up on March 10th. What better time? And you don't have a release schedule that tells you anything outside of Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, which comes out after the Princess Peach game next month. So everything kind of points to, we're probably going to get a Direct next month. You're probably going to get a Direct next month. That's pretty much a guarantee. Are we actually going to see the system? That's the question. And I think I'm going to go on the record and say, I think we're going to get an announcement of the system. Are we actually going to see it? I don't know. I don't know if we're actually going to see it, but I think they're going to officially announce it. I think they're going to officially announce it. The occasion is there. You got the Switch anniversary is there. You got Mario Day is there. They've been promoting Mario Day for heavy for the last 5 years. So that's obviously a tradition of theirs now. And we're due for a major direct, and we always get a major direct in February or March. So everything is lining up, you know, for these Nintendo Direct leaks, so-called, quote unquote, to be actually accurate. And as far as a backwards capability for the Switch 2, I think that's obviously going to be a thing. It makes sense. It makes sense. It falls right in line to what the Nintendo president was saying in the first damn place. But what can we possibly announce with the Switch 2? What are they going to call the Switch 2? And the most important thing that everybody's overlooking, Nintendo is not going to play the frame rate and resolution game with you. I'm pretty sure this is probably going to be one of the most powerful Nintendo systems to date. Probably the most powerful they ever released in quite a long time. But they're not going to leave out the innovation part. There's going to be something innovative about this console. Meanwhile, keeping it a hybrid and keeping all the players that are on Switch and moving them over. I just don't know what that functionality is going to be. I don't know what that game define and game innovation is going to be for the next Switch, for the Switch 2. But it's going to be something. They're not just going to beef up the damn console and just re-release it. That's not what they do. They showed you over the last few generations that's not what they're going to do. There's going to be some major feature that's going to affect gameplay that they're going to do with the successor. What that could be at this point, I don't know. We had no idea when it came to the Wii. We had no fucking idea when it came to the Wii U. We definitely didn't have any idea that the Switch was going to be what it was. So keep that in mind, people, that the biggest, most exciting thing about potentially seeing the Switch 2 next month and the rumored Nintendo Direct is that we're going to see how they're going to innovate and push gaming forward again. Because it's going to be something. They're not going to just release a console and it's just going to be Switch with more power. That's not going to be it. That's not how Nintendo roll. That's not how they focus. That's not how they even approach game development. So obviously that's not something they're going to do. But it's definitely going to be powerful enough to manage all the games that are coming down the line. They signed that 10-year contract with Microsoft for Call of Duty to be content parity across all platforms with the Nintendo as well. So we know at the bare minimum, that's what it's going to do. But I'm very excited and I'm very looking forward to what this game feature is going to be. What is going to be the main catch for the success for the Nintendo Switch? We already know it's going to remain a hybrid console. They have already hinted toward that and kind of insinuated that very, very strongly. There's no fucking way they can go back now. You can't release a hybrid console that's a home console in a handheld and then go back to just being a home console alone. This is the new norm. Hybrid console is the new norm. I said it in 2017. The hybrid console is the new norm. So just get that out of your head. That's just going to be the norm from now on. You know, that can't be the selling feature anymore. That's just the norm. Of course, I'm speaking that holy gospel, bro. I always speak the gospel here on HEE Truth Live. I'm the only one to speak the gospel in this gaming streets. I might be a Nintendo god, but I will speak the damn gospel when I see it. The hybrid console is a foregone thing. That is going to be what it is from now on. That it is what it is. You can't go back now. It's impossible to go back. It's impossible. But I want to know what that real big feature is going to be for the next Nintendo Switch. I really don't know what it could be. We did 2 screens with the DS. We did 3D with the 3DS. We did motion control gamings already with the Wii. We did 2 screen for home consoles with the Wii U. I really don't know what else they can really do. They seem to surprise us every time, but that's the thing I'm looking forward to the most. What could potentially be a launch game for this new Switch, which I think is going to come out this year. And speaking of prime position, like I said with Microsoft, Nintendo is in an excellent prime position right now. Nintendo has when it comes to the Nintendo Switch 2, Nintendo has the opportunity to potentially force one of these guys out of making consoles ever again. And what I mean by that, they have the potential to really force Sony or Microsoft to think about ever releasing consoles ever again. With the state that Sony in right now with this 14-month drought, with the state that Microsoft is in out now, with they not really sure what they're going to do. They're going multi-platform. They're going semi-multi-platform. We're going to soft, launch into multi-platform. Nintendo's in a prime position to really take the fuck over, simply because we already know third parties are on board with this new successor, which means you're going to get probably 90% of all third-party games. And Nintendo could really put Sony and Microsoft in a bind to where the point is, if the Nintendo console has everything available on it, then what incentive do you have to even buy a Sony or Microsoft console anyway? That's even if they keep their exclusives on their respective platforms. If they don't keep their exclusives on their respective platforms, why the hell would you even buy that console if the Nintendo console has everything on it on third party wise? What's the point? So they really have the opportunity here to really blow Sony and Microsoft completely out of the fucking water with the next Nintendo Switch. Really have the opportunity to blow them completely out of the fucking water. And they can have third party games here day one. Major third-party games, which you already know Call of Duty is going to be one of them, which is pretty big. And all they have to do is launch with a killer app. And the two killer apps that are due for new installments is Mario Kart, of course. The game that already sold over 70 fucking million copies. Mario Kart has turned into a juggernaut I never thought it could ever be. And of course, the next 3D Mario game, when the last one obviously came out in 2017. So those are the two games that are really due. And we still got Metroid Prime 4 lingering about in the background too, which I think is going to end up being a cross-gen title, to be honest with y'all. I think that's going to release on the successor of the Nintendo Switch and the regular Switch. So we can look at a situation where this Switch can launch the Switch 2 can launch this fall in November with Metroid Prime 4, a new 3D Mario game, or the new Mario Kart game, and a slew of on-time content and graphical parody third-party games like Call of Duty. At that point, what the fuck is a PlayStation and what the fuck is an Xbox at that point? If that comes to fruition, which I'm pretty sure, I think it is going to come to fruition, what's the point of having a PlayStation and what's the point of having an Xbox at that point? That might be the sole reason why Microsoft is thinking about going third party, because they probably already have an idea of what Nintendo is already going to do. That's the thing about these big three. They do kind of have an idea about hardware wise of what the other company is doing, because I'm pretty sure they got, insiders and stuff and, people that spy. They really never know about their financials and, they're operating in their money, because obviously that's held very tight from the executive level. But as far as their, plans and hardware, they pretty much probably know a little bit of each other, probably too late in the game. That's why you see Sony and Microsoft copy Nintendo later on down the line, like Connect and the Move and shit like that. Now you see the PlayStation Portal. But they probably have an idea of what Nintendo console is going to be, being Microsoft. Or they wouldn't have signed that 10-year content parody deal with Call of Duty. They probably already know. So Microsoft's probably looking like, we're definitely not going to beat this next Nintendo system. That's for sure, because this motherfucker is going to be a fucking beast, and we're not gaining traction on Sony, so we probably should go third party. That's probably the way they've been looking at it. But Nintendo has the opportunity to really blow these two motherfuckers completely out of the water, which is mind blowing to me, because I think we need a big three in a console space to create competition, healthy competition. You never want it to be a monopoly, but Who would have thought after the Wii U that the company that would have the potential to really blow two other competitors out of the console market completely, who would have thought it would have been Nintendo? But here we are. Nintendo is the company that could potentially do that. Now that we know the sad fucking state that Sony is deep in, Nintendo has the opportunity to actually fucking do that, which is wild. I don't think a monopoly on the console market from Nintendo would actually be a bad thing, because they always stood on their values, whether they was up on top of everybody, whether they was below everybody. But I would always like to see more than one console be on the market. I would always like to see three. I always like to see a big three. I never wanted to be not to be a big three. But with the way things are now, I do not see any fucking way. And this is if this Switch 2 releases anytime between this year and April 2025. I don't see any way that Xbox or PlayStation has any chance of stopping Nintendo and catching up with them at this point. They played the long game. They played the blackjack table very, very nicely this time around. And I think they're going to benefit from it. And for their next system that potentially launch with Mario Kart or the next 3D Mario game and a Metroid Prime game, it's GG's in the fucking chat. GG's in the chat if that is the case, bruh. If that is the case, bruh, GG's in the chat. You looking at another dominating performance once again. And then their Switch is going to be the best-selling console of all time. It's only 15 million away from the PS2. It's going to reach that. It's going to reach that before the year is over with. So it's GG's in the chat. So we have to a lot to look forward to over the next few weeks. It's a sad state for the Sony. It's a sad state for the Sony peasants. It's a sad state for Sony and Sony right now. It's a sad state for Microsoft, but Microsoft has the ability to really pivot and to make it into a good state. They have the franchise, they have the developers, they have the games that are already done, about to be done, or about to be released. They have the opportunity to do something to solidify themselves. And ironically, after all this, after the last fucking 5 years, after the last decade, the company that's in the most shit and in the most mud is PlayStation. It's PlayStation is in the most motherfucking mud. That is just, I would have never predicted it. But I'm gonna put it to you like this. Nintendo Direct, I'm ready for it. I'm ready to see this Switch 2. I'm ready. They better call it Super Nintendo Switch. I ain't accepting nothing else. I don't want to hear nothing else. I don't want to hear nothing else. Super Nintendo Switch. Show me that big feature is. Tell me I got Mario Kart. I'm there day one. I ain't missing it. Metroid Prime 4, I'm ready to see it. That's going to be probably one of the best looking games ever fucking created. I'm pretty sure. I think a rumor came out of that earlier this year about Metroid Prime 4 being mind blowing graphically. So we're going to find out who's going to pull the first chess move, and that is Microsoft tomorrow in a Xbox podcast business update with Sarah Bond, Matt Booty, and Phil Spencer. And then after that, we're probably going to find out what Nintendo is doing and how they're going to do it. And then we're going to get a shape of what the immediate future is going to look like. It's looking very grim for Sony, and this is not me hating. This is me just making an observation of what the fuck just happened today and what has happened over the last few months. They literally have no games. Literally. The COO told you they have no games. You have seen no games. You barely have any games announced. And then he's telling you in the last days of the PS5. It ain't looking too fucking good right now, people. It ain't looking too good for a brand that is so fucking popular and a brand that has made them so much money in the past. They once again have fucked it up. And I'm just flabbergasted. I just don't understand how did we get to today? How did we get to today? I tried to tell y'all. The writing was on the wall, unfortunately. When it shifted from gameplay to frame rate and resolution, when Sean Layton got the fuck up out of there, when Connie Booth got the fuck up out of there, when you didn't have any games being shown to you with any release window, anything being announced, anything was exclusively made for the PS5, everything was cross-gen, when Jim Ryan fucking retired, and when they refused to show you a roadmap and they refused to appoint anybody as the head of PlayStation, that all should have triggered you to say something is up. And today, the head honcho of Sony Interactive Entertainment, not just PlayStation, told you out of his mouth, yeah, shit was fucked up and he's coming to fix it. And the way he's going to fix it, it's not the way PlayStation fans want him to fix it, which puts Microsoft in a great position to really gain real estate, and which puts Nintendo in an outstanding position to really end up knocking this shit out of the park and taking control of the whole console market as a whole with their next console. It's crazy to think about that. So now I'm about to get up out of here. Everybody get ready for what's happening tomorrow. And all I got to say is, GG's in the motherfucking chat. It was a good game, Sony peasants. It was a good game, Sony fanboys, or you Sony ponies, or you Sony drones, whatever y'all call yourself these days. GG's in the chat, because I'm telling you right now, that is it for the PS5. That is it for the PS5. You are about to enter another age of where Sony goes back to third place, because this is going to be a multi-year rebuilding of what the fuck up they just created. And kudos to Nintendo, the Nintengods, my favorite company. GG's in the chat for them, because they are in the most winningest position they have ever been in as a console manufacturer. So, till that, I will see y'all tomorrow. HEE Truth Live will be tomorrow, because I'm going to live react to tomorrow. That Xbox podcast is going to be something worthwhile. And basically the memes are going to be off the chain. And you know what? Nintendo and we're going to be sitting back just sipping the tea. Hit that like button.